What's the first thing you think of when you hear the name Justin Jamal Jefferson?
I, for me, I
Yeah.
think it's selflessness.
Mhm.
That first that
Good word. It's a
there
good
was
word.
what Addison was balling earlier this season, and he says if my team eats or something, I'm paraphrasing, everyone eats, I'm happy. Like I thought that was really cool. A guy that's secure with, who he is, a team guy. That's what because everyone's looking at him. He's the highest paid receiver. He's the highest paid player at the position.
Well
He's the
deserved.
highest paid guy on his
100%.
team.
Well deserved.
And when he says that kind of thing, it makes everyone else like, oh, we can't act foolish because our best player. Like I thought that's the first thing that came to my mind. What's the first thing comes to your mind?
The best wide receiver in the NFL
Yeah, he's pretty damn
currently.
good.
I mean, there's Jamar Chase, but just over the last 3 years, I got to give it to Justin Jefferson. I mean, he's just a phenomenal athlete. Just his skill set is second to none. I mean, he's a littler guy. He's skinny, and it's impressive how some of the hits that he can take. He's a tough SOB out there because to be that size, you got to be like athletic to another level, and you got to be slippery as well because you're going to get demolished by a running back. I mean, not by a running back, by a linebacker once in a while, by a bigger safety, and you got to be able to get up. Also, you can't be taking those hits all the time, and he's so slippery that he knows how to catch the ball and, make a little tiny adjustment so he doesn't take those hits, because if he takes those hits just on a continuous basis, that wouldn't be good for his career overall. That'll start knocking him down, but he's just that good at the position. He knows how to avoid that contact, and that's what keeps him going a week in and week out. And just the way he can get around defenders after he catches the ball too and make them miss and just have all the yards after the catch. I mean, guy is just an athlete out there. I love watching him play.
He's wiry. There's always those real like skinny dudes that have like that leverage, whippy strength and like that quickness. Like that's what he is.
Quickness to another level.
He's quick. He can get in and out of breaks for how tall he is. I mean, he can run the whole tree. He always comes down with the ball whenever it's thrown his way. That fourth down where he's in triple coverage and Kirk Cousins hit him a couple years ago, and he came down with it one hand. Like that was an insane play.
It was.
Like that was on 4th and long. When the defense knows it's going to this guy, there's 3 guys on him. He goes up and gets that ball, and he's done that a bunch of times in his league. Like how crazy is it to think that him, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow were all on the same college team?
Well, that's why they won the national championship. I think they went undefeated as well. It was one of the best college football teams in the history of college football. And that's when I learned about Joe Burrow as well, when I watched that college football national championship. And that team was just ridiculous. I mean, it's like they're wide receiver you.
Yeah.
Like,
they are Odell. You got Brian Thomas.
Ohio State's up there as well.
Ohio State is right there.
I still think that LSU is number
Landry.
one. It's just incredible, just the guys that they're producing out of LSU. I don't know what they're feeding them, or I don't know what's causing them to be so explosive as well. I want that type of training, even though I'm not even playing anymore. I just want to be explosive in life, whatever I do. Like these guys, I mean, I would just be the bomb then if I was like them. But Justin Jefferson, man, like we're saying, the explosiveness, his bursts off the snap is what gets him open majority of the time. If you can. It's about getting open. You get open in the first 3 yards of your route on majority of the routes out there, and that's Justin Jefferson for you. And just his fluid movements as well, just how fluid he is, just how he can break down at any given time and run any route on the route tree.
Yeah.
And the only way you can do that because you're so bendable and so loose and so fluid. So he's reliable anywhere out on the field at the slot position, at wide receiver number 3. You can't line him up in near the line. He's just too skinny for that. He'll get tossed around if he has to block a linebacker. Because there are wide receivers that block linebackers. He can't be doing that.
I think he's done it.
He's probably done it, but he can't be doing that.
He reminds me a lot when I saw him run a curl route once, and he got so in and out of that break with his frame. It reminded me of Chad Ochocinco.
But more fluid.
Yeah, but it was, still Chad was like one of the best cutters that we've seen in this game, and he's got that. It's been pretty, like, the guys on his team, Stephen Gilmore, who's been around a lot of great football, he goes out and says how hard he goes in practice is rare. I mean, most guys, they think they could just turn it on in the game. He actually puts the work in, and I love hearing that stuff.
And when you hear about all the greatest receivers of all time, there's always someone out there on the defense side of the ball that has a quote very similar to that. And it's kind of the same in your case, Julian. You're one of the best slot receivers to ever play the game, hands down. And your work ethic was phenomenal. You would go out there and you would practice full speed every single practice, and that would translate to the game. And you're just like Justin Jefferson,
I don't
the slot position now.
You know,
I've been ragging on you a couple of times. But what makes Justin Jefferson great as well is that when the ball is up in the air, he can make adjustments, air adjustments.
Yeah.
Let's call it air adjustments, where no matter it is, he can be up in the air and he can adjust his hands, adjust his body, adjust where the ball is,
body control,
adjust where his feet are going, just so he can get under the ball. That body control that he has is through the roof. And that's what really, truly makes you the best receiver in the game, because no matter how good you are, there's always going to be a defensive back still covering you and still on you. It's about how you can just have that little advantage to get open, and the way that he can control his body is what gives him that advantage, and the way that he can adjust to a ball.
Yeah, I mean, who's top 3 receivers right now?
In the NFL, well, Justin Jefferson's one of them. We're not going to go any order. Jamar Chase.
I think he's a monster.
Which is crazy. They played together at LSU. Joe Burrow, one lucky quarterback.
You know what Jamar Chase reminds me of? He reminds me of Steve Smith was 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
Like when you watch their highlight, because Steve Smith was like a very violent run. Like he's explosive, violent. He's just bigger.
Yeah. But like Jamar Chase even has like another gear, like another speed than Steve Smith. And Steve
Smith used to, I mean, you watch his highlights, man. He looks like he was a monster.
He was. Yeah, but
I know Jamar Chase is a monster too. I'm not trying
I think that's how big of a monster Jamar Chase is. I think he has one more gear than Steve Smith.
Yeah.
I think Steve Smith
Who's 3?
I think Steve Smith is tougher.
I don't know.
Steve Smith, tough SOB.
And he could talk shit.
And talk garbage.
He could talk
But Jamar Chase had has an extra gear in like the speed department.
He never get caught.
Mm-mm.
Who else? We got Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
Oh yeah, who's the third?
The third.
Ooh. I mean, it's a clear number 1 and 2 with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. And then number 3, I might have to get it.
A.J. Brown, if he had a quarterback that was.
Yeah, but, everything factors. What about C.D. Lamb, though?
C.D. Lamb
has been performing. He was paid this offseason. He sure performed.
C.D.
He was, really reliable throughout the whole year.
Got hurt a little bit, didn't he? He didn't finish the year.
Well, you know something? We're not going to do top 3, Jules. We're just going to do 1 and 2, because these guys are just such a level ahead of everyone else after them. So Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, number 1 and 2 wide receivers in the NFL.
If I have to watch another Pop Warner video or flag football video with the kids scoring a touchdown and doing the gritty, I wish I had a quarter for every time I seen a little kid do a gritty. Mm-hmm. I'd be so rich. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's because of Justin Jefferson. Every time, I mean, he do the gritty. He started doing that like 4 years ago. It's still, he is synonymous with the gritty. Jamar Chase taught Justin Jefferson the gritty at LSU. Jamar Chase stays in college for a year. Justin Jefferson goes to the league, starts doing the gritty, because the guy who taught Jamar Chase the gritty is the guy who started the gritty. So there's just so much gritty, incestuous shit going on.
A lot of grittiness.
It's so gritty.
A lot of grittiness.
But it's tight.
I guess that's what makes you the best receivers in the NFL. You got to be able to gritty.
Got to hit the gritty.
They must just sit there and train, like doing the gritty for like 16 hours straight a day. Like,
I love seeing the white guys that can't do the gritty after.
Oh, like me just now?
No, like Gasecki.
You're right. I can do the gritty. Gritty.
Mac Jones.
Oh, Mac Jones. He was grittying in the Pro Bowl, and they weren't even trying. And like he thought he ran by everyone. I'm like, Mac Jones. Everyone literally fell on the ground basically, and acted like they were dead. And you ran by everyone. And you're grittying. I think that's when Bill was like, "Oh, this guy grittying at the freaking Pro Bowl, and no one was even trying."
Can't gritty.
Yeah. Same with who'd you say the tight end? Gesicki grittying.
Oh, I think he makes fun of it though.
Too. Yeah.
I think he makes fun of it.
He's a ball buster.
Yeah, I think he's like. I don't know. I love watching it. It's fun. All right, what kind of dude is Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, what kind of dude is he? He's swaggy. That's he's a swaggy dude. But that's not one of the categories here, Jules.
He's definitely a dog. He's definitely a dude's dude. You could tell that everyone loves him. Mm-hmm. And he's a glue guy, clearly from his quote.
Mm-hmm.
But
Team player, no doubt about that. But I kind of feel like I know this category just because of just how special of a player he is.
yeah,
So
on 3, what do you
on
think?
3.
1, 2, 3, stud.
Stud.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Stud out there on the football field.
he's just a stud. He's consistent. He's what you want your younger players to be. When you talk about guys that are your best players on your team, your most influential guys on your team, that's who you want.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a stud.
And what about those chains?
Always got chains.
Oh, you're studly if you're wearing those chains.
Swag stud.